Again, thank you for joining us here today. It's really great pleasure and honor to have Professor Yohan Yoo as a guest speaker. He is a professor of religious studies at Seoul National University. Professor Yoo is a specialist in comparative religions, religion and culture, religious materiality, and the folk cult and rituals of Korea. He published several articles and books, both in English and Korean, including Religion, Symbol, and Human in Korean, and Korean religious text in Iconic and Performative Rituals in English, which came out last year, September. Today, Professor Yoo will talk about the Yeongdeung-gut, a major ritual performed by shamans on Jeju Island, Korea, to ensure a bountiful fishing harvest under the title of Shamanic cult rituals on Jeju Island. So please welcome Professor Yoo.
Thank you, Professor Kim, for inviting me here, having me here, and you gave me chance to see my old students here also, and Michael also here. Good to see you. And then I will do my lecture, and hopefully gonna be okay. So the title of my talk today is Shamanic Gut Rituals on Jeju Island, Korea. And have you ever heard about Gut? Anybody knows Gut? Okay, several knows and does not know Gut. Gut is shamanic ritual, comprehensive ritual, and there are several categories I will talk about and introduce about Gut. For the persons who have never heard about Gut, you will get the general knowledge. Hopefully, that's what I hope. And especially Jeju-gut, Jeju Island. Have you ever been to Jeju? Anybody? But have you ever heard about Jeju Island? Okay, so that's the reason I will begin about Jeju-do. Okay. Jeju-do. Where is Jeju-do? Jeju-do is the largest island in Korea and one of the 9 provinces that make up the country. It is also the smallest province with a population of about 670,000 people over 1,848 square kilometers as of 2025 this year. And given South Korea's total population of approximately 52 million, over about 99,000 square kilometers, Jeju province is relatively small. And being an island that is about 1 kilometer off the mainland, Jeju has developed distinct religious traditions. Most notably, the indigenous shamanic religion remains strong and active, and in many rural villages, up to half of the residents regularly participate in communal or family shamanic rituals, even in 21st century. It's totally different from that of the mainland. And it is typically performed or led by a shimbang. Shimbang is Jeju shaman. In the mainland, they are called as mudang, but in Jeju-do, they are called as shimbang. Shimbang is the actually 신의 형방. It means put the official of gods, put the officials of the gods. 신의 성방 or 신방. Shimbang is Jeju shaman. First of all, you just remember shimbang. I'm going to repeat the word shimbang so many times. Shimbang is Jeju shaman. Okay, and Korean word do. I'm going to talk about Jeju-do, right? So do means both province and island without any change in pronunciation. Therefore, Jeju-do refers to Jeju Island as well as Jeju province. When the word Jeju-do is used to designate Jeju province, it includes the main island, Jeju Island, as well as 63 smaller nearby islands, and just 8 of which are inhabited. You see this map there, South Korean map left side, and Jeju Island map on the right side. It is quite small, and how can I erase this sign here? No, because you'll see just behind this part, there is Jeju-do. Behind this part, there is Jeju-do. And then if you enlarge Jeju Island like this is the shape of Jeju-do. So if you want to go to Jeju-do, you have to come to Incheon Airport first, and then move to Seoul, and then from Seoul you have to take airplane and go to Jeju Island, and you will see beautiful scene there. It's really beautiful. Nowadays in Netflix there is a K drama called 폭삭 속았수다. It is about the Jeju Island, life of Jeju Island. It is really beautiful there, and some Korean dramas like All In, Lee Byung-hun, Yoon Sama, it also was take his drama in Jeju Island. It's beautiful. Actually, I was fascinated by Jeju Island when I went to honeymoon there, 1998. I was fascinated at the scene of Jeju Island, and then I go back to Jeju Island every year from now on. Actually, the first time I began to study about Jeju religion was about 16, 17 years ago. It was 2008. At the time, I was invited by National University of Singapore to talk about the relationship between indigenous religion and foreign religion in Korea. But in Korea, we could not find any indigenous, so-called indigenous religion in Korea except Jeju Island. Because strong influence of Confucianism, too strong influence of Confucianism, shamanism was almost, changed all too much. But in Jeju-do, Korean Confucian style ancestral rites, 제사, actually, began late 19th century. After that, modernized. So Confucian influence was the weakest in Jeju Island by the 19th century. So when we talk about so-called real indigenous religion, we have to go to Jeju Island. So this was almost the only place you can see the indigenous shamanic religion as the primordial or so-called original form there. So this is Jeju Island. So I began from Jeju-do. So I saw that just several of you know about Jeju-do, but now I think even you know Jeju-do now. So you are expert of Jeju-do, right? So you became expert of at least Jeju-do now. And today my focus is Jeju-gut, shamanic ritual. Actually, that is for propitiating gods, to get wish fulfillment or anything. That is the ritual for propitiating gods. That is especially I'll focus on community rituals. There are so many kinds of gut in Jeju-do and in Korea, but community rituals I will focus for ensuring bountiful fishing harvest. And I want to explain these pictures, these pictures there. And a female 신방 is trying to erect the 큰대. 큰 means large. 대 means pole, right? So 큰대 means a large ceremonial pole, 큰대, through which God descends to this world from the divine world. And it connects to the ritual site with a long cotton bridge. It is called also this long cotton is called as 다리. 다리 means bridge. So it connects from the divine world to the human world. So gods come through this, most gods come through this 큰대, and then goes down to this bridge, and they come to the ritual site. She is one of my informants and just one of the two holders of national intangible cultural heritage in Jeju shamanism. So she's a very famous person in Jeju-do. And she's really, really nice 신방. Actually, I will talk about it later. In Jeju-do, if you sing well, you are the best 신방. You have to sing, you have to be a better singer to become a better 신방. So I will show those pictures also later. So she and her assistant are preparing the good start. And Jeju, I will talk about Jeju shamanism and shamanism in the mainland very briefly. And preeminent scholars of Korean shamanism, not just me, like one more older generation scholars like 현용준, 장주근, 이수자, generally agreed that Jeju shamanism is rooted in traditions that originated on the mainland, and the Jeju and the other regions of Korea share a common shamanic foundation. It is true. I can fully agree with them. And they also suggest that Jeju's shamanism may be closer to a more primordial or original form than found elsewhere in Korea. as I told you guys, because of due to the influence of Buddhism and Confucianism, we can see a lot of influence in Jeju shamanism that from Buddhism actually. Because in Jeju mythology, you can find a lot of influence from Buddhism also. For instance, one of the most important gods in Jeju mythology name is 초공. The myth that 초공's 할아버지, 초공's grandfather's name is 석가모니, 샤카무니, and grandmother is 석가열애. Same person, right? myth is bricolage of bricolage. Just as Levi-Strauss said that they just borrow the higher being from Buddhism and then use it in their Jeju myth. So same person. 석가모니 and 석가열애, same person. They use it as a high person. Actually, 초공's father's name is 주시. Got it from Confucianism, right? So Jeju shamanism also got a lot of influence from Confucianism and also Buddhism. More actually Buddhism much bigger influences because Jeju shamans sometimes use clothing and hat of Buddhist monks also. But the influence was strong due to the period of from the period of Mongolian governance at the time, 16th century to 19th century. Some materials say that there was no Buddhist temple there active. Especially 18th century, magistrate Yeongdeung-gut, he governed there about 2 years. Left records of Namhan Bangmul. A lot of nodding there. So maybe you read the Namhan Bangmul. Okay. In Namhan Bangmul, he said that magistrate Yeongdeung said that I heard that there are 500 shrines, shamanic shrines, and 500 Buddhist temple. But when I came down to Jeju Island, no Buddhist temple there at that time. Just a lot of relics and sites there, but not real active monks. When 18th century Yeongdeung when they came down to there, because I'm not going to talk about it right now because I have 70 slides here, and then I have just 1 more hour here. Okay, we will go further. And Jeju shamanic rituals are closely related to those of mainland Korean shamanism. It is very difficult to define fully indigenous Korean beliefs and practices, as I told you before, as they have long been shaped by external influences such as those of Buddhism and Confucianism, and have evolved in complex ways. Actually, I want to show. Yeonwoo, do you know how to remove this bar? You don't know how to remove this one? Okay, drag. Okay, wow, you're a genius. Okay. Nowhere. Okay. Right click. More? Okay. Wow, you're a genius. For this one? Wow, you're a genius. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. Wow. Oh, okay. For more on the relationship between indigenous shamanism and foreign religions, please refer to my article there, and you will see you can learn from my article about the relationship between indigenous religion and external religions like Confucianism and Buddhism and even Christianity there. Christianity came down to Jeju Island from late 19th century. And biggest trouble in Korea between shamanic indigenous religion people and Catholics. They called it 이재수의 Lee Jung-jae was the main hero of the movie 이재수의 and it is very famous events in Korea. It was in 1901. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to introduce some categories of gut. Shamanic ritual in Korea for propitiating gods. 큰 gut is a full-scale, large good. 큰 means large, big size. And comprehensive ritual, typically performed in the home of shaman or a client. The client should be a community member, right? Usually performed for two purposes. First one is 신굿. 신굿 means there is a ritual for shamans. 신굿. So for the 신방 to confirm his or her mission as an official of the gods, she or he must perform 신굿. While he or she is in practice, at least 3 times they must to perform the 신굿. You know what? It takes a lot of money and time for preparing 굿. 신굿 takes like more than 10 days. You have to prepare all the food for gods. All the 18,000 gods in Jeju Island. 18. I know Shinto, there are many more, gods in Shinto in Jeju, in Japanese, but in Jeju Island, we say that they have 18,000 gods. You have to, feed them for 10 to 15 days. So it's, a lot of food they have to prepare. And you have to hire about 5 신방. For 큰굿, you need 5 신방. Sometimes more assistants. You have to pay for their daily money for their work there. So it takes a lot of money. And second one, if you go to hospital and the doctor said that you should have to go to church or 무당, you have to do 큰굿. I mean, the doctor said that I cannot help you anymore. This one you have to go to the religious person, a religious specialist. I mean, you have to give up, and then you will go to the 신방. And even doctor cannot help. For instance, mental illness, they have 신굿 here. 신굿 here. I mean 큰굿 here. 신굿 is for the shamans, but 큰굿 this kind of 큰굿 is to address and overcome a serious issue of community member, usually illness, especially mental illness nowadays, because you can handle cancer and others in the hospital, right? But mental illness, you still resort to shamans in this area, and serious issue affecting the client. And the good is conducted with careful attention to every step of ritual process. At least it takes 3 days. At least 3 days. That is the smallest. I mean, the shortest time is 3 days. But usually 10 days, ideally 15 days. Ideally 15 days. So typically 5 신방 perform the ritual at least 3 days, and sometimes as long as 15. Every morning, a 신방 ritually awakes, because it is long ritual, ritually awakes the gods. In front of the gods, they have to go to gods and please wake up, gods, and then sprinkle water. You have to wash your face and hands, and then bring your towel, and then please dry your hand like this. And this is ritual, very important ritual process you have to do early in the morning. Wake up and washing gods, and assist in cleansing them. It doesn't work. Go here. I think the reason is that I removed. Oh, really? It went? Oh, it is slow. Okay. I will talk about very briefly a key element of 큰굿, 당클. 당클 is used only for 큰굿 or full-scale 굿. Full-scale 굿. Nowadays in Jeju-do, you cannot see 큰굿 anymore. I remember that the last 큰굿 was 5 years ago. 5 years ago. No one nowadays do 큰굿 often like that, But usually they do small size 굿, just 1 day 굿. In many cases, most of the community 굿 are performed as a small size 굿, 1 day 굿. But in 큰굿, 당클 is key element. 당클 is kind of shelves that hang on the wall of the living room of the client. I mean, the host of the ritual. But actually, it is the 당클 are originally door, and they tear off from the door frame and then use it temporarily as the places of God reside during the ritual. So 당클 is very important as a temporary seats for the 18,000 gods hung on the wall of the host's living room. And traditional style lattice doors, 창호 문, lattice door with Korean style white paper on there are used for this purpose. And for the full scale 큰 곳, you have to hang four danker. In Korea, four means 사, so 사 danker 굿. It means 큰 굿 that use four danker there. The largest scale 굿 where four danker are installed, that is 사 danker 굿. And they have names there. You know, I told you, I said that there are four danker are hung. So two are 하늘, heaven, 이, 투, 궁, palace. 하늘, heaven, two, 이, two, palaces. So two palaces for heavenly gods or higher gods. First one is 삼천 전제 석궁, that is for higher gods, including 옥황상제, heavenly Jade Emperor. And in Jeju-do, he is called as 천지왕. 천 means heaven, and 지 means earth, 왕 is king. King of heaven and earth is invited there. And 시왕당클, 시왕 is, you know, influence of Buddhism. 시왕 is netherworld, 10 gods, 10 god netherworld, for gods of the netherworld. And second, 땅이궁, 땅 is earth, right? So earth, two palaces for earthly gods. One is hung for the house gate god and the village's main god. 문전 is the name of the god who keeps the gate of the house, main gate of the house. 문전신. And the 본향신 is the main god of a village. 문전 본향, dankel is important. And all the other gods, you hung 마을 영계 dankel, including anonymous gods, you know, unknown gods who do not have a name, specific name, for the spiritual ancestors, including you hang 마을 영계 dankel, but during the 큰 곳, no specific separate rituals for 마을 영계 단골. You prepare just, you know, their place because you do not want to irritate them. You do not want to make them angry. So give them food and give them place, but do not have a specific ritual for them. Okay. Okay, it is a little bit slow. And second type is 조근굿. I know that half of you speak Korean, right? So 작다 means small, right? In Jeju-do, it is pronounced 조근, 족다. They have a different pronunciation of vowels, a lot of vowels, you know, different vowel systems. So 조근굿 is, you know, smaller good. And a smaller scale good performed without dankel. Gods are invited behind the table. That is their place, behind the table. But still conducted by at least 3 신방, or sometimes 5 신방. And they have to use a shamanic musical instrument. I know that there is 풍물 선생님 here. 풍물 선생님, Korean traditional music 선생님. And in Jeju Island, we use that drum, 북, drum, and 장구, and double side drum with the a little bit thinner waist, 장구, and 징 and 공. 설수에 is 꽹과리, and 대양 is 징 in mainland Korea. So there are, you know, we use just 4 percussion for Jeju gut. So today most gut are performed in the form of 조근굿. So you have to play a musical instrument there and sing there. At least 3 신방 are needed, 조근굿, just one day. But one day you have to wake up very early in the morning, prepare like, you know, 5 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, begin 7 o'clock, and it ends like, you know, 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning, in the evening. And the last kind is 비념, just one 신방 conduct 비념 without musical instrument. Do not invite all the gods. A ritual performed by a single 신방, mainly involving, you know, narration and direct communication with the gods. He talks to gods. but do not sing much because there is no other 신방 who can play the instrument. Without 반주 instrument, they do not sing. If you do not go to karaoke, you do not sing, right? Just like that, Without the instrument, you do not sing. Without use of musical instrument, there are 비념 also. Now you became expert of Jeju shamanism, at least the ritual aspect. You became very expert. From now, we will go to a more specific ritual, 당굿. 당 is shrine in Jeju Island. Even in the mainland Korea also, even on the mainland also. Village shrine 굿. 당굿 are rituals performed for the village community. And about the scale, it is a type of 조근굿, small scale good, in which no dankel are used. And there are two forms of dangut still commonly observed in many villages today. First one is Yeongdeung-gut. Yeongdeung-gut, a ritual for wishing abundance performed in February of the lunar calendar. So I will talk more about the dangut, especially focusing on Yeongdeung-gut. I spent 30 minutes already, but for the rest of my time, I will focus on Yeongdeung-gut more. Actually, Yeongdeung-gut and Yeongdeung is used in the mainland also, on the mainland also, especially Jeolla, Chungcheong, and Gyeongsang provinces, and some areas of east coastal area in Korea. Yeongdeung-dal means the month of Yeongdeung is February of lunar calendar. There are some taboos you have to avoid during this period. And the same idea, Yeongdeung goddess, it is female god, Yeongdeung deity comes to Korea on the first day of February lunar calendar, and then go back to heaven like 20th or 15th of the February. But in Jeju-do, it goes back to her own realm, like 15th of February. Actually, in the mainland, she came from the heaven, but in Jeju-do, she comes from a mythic country. Mythic country. It is not articulated as heaven, but it comes from a mythic country. And the second one is 신과세제. 신과세제 is New Year ritual. Every January lunar calendar, they perform the New Year ritual performed in January by the lunar calendar. There used to be two more regular 당굿. One is for harvest Thanksgiving. One is for Thanksgiving. The other is for removing the influence of monsoon, like at the middle part of the July, like 15th July, right after the monsoon is over and the hot weather is over. But nowadays, these two rituals are performed nowadays. Finally, we arrived in Yeongdeung-gut. Now, you know what is Yeongdeung? You know what is gut. And I want you to know that Yeongdeung-gut is not conducted only in Jeju-do. It used to be also on the mainland. But nowadays, just some eastern coastal area perform Yeongdeungje, Yeongdeung-gut, but not many areas they gave up this ritual. And it is performed to wish for abundance, usually in fishery, because Jeju-do many villages live on fishing product, but also in crops and game. In some villages whose main focus is agriculture, they also wish for abundance in crops. And in 중산간 마을, in Jeju-do, the highest mountain in South Korea is in Jeju-do, Halla Mountain. So several village persons did hunt for their living, especially roe deer. Roe deer is the most expensive one, right? Roe deer hunting. So they prayed for the abundance in game in those villages. And during her visit, she spread the seeds of abalones. As you know, abalone is the most valuable sea product in Jeju-do. 해녀, sea divers, female sea divers in Jeju Island, tries to find abalone always. Abalone is the most expensive one. But turban shells are not bad. Turban shells. Seaweed, no. But anyway, the Yeongdeung goddess spread the seeds around the sea coast of Jeju Island. The picture left upper side is taken February 14th, 2017. 칠머리당 영등굿. 칠머리당 영등굿 is one of the two national heritage, and the process, the segment is 본향듬. You know, this during this segment, the Shimbang have Shimbang try to invite the village's main god and his wife god is there. And 시점, sea divination. I'm going to talk about divination later more. And for the good performed, for a good to be performed, you have to invite God. It is very important. You have to invite God. And usually community level good are festive, joyful. But while you are inviting the gods to the ritual site, you have to be very serious. You have to be very serious. Because the gods can be polluted, can be impure. Or if God are angry, they do not come. So very complicated ritual should be performed. The main ritual for inviting gods is 초감제. During the 초감제, 신방 recites 천지왕 본풀이. 천지왕 is like, you know, 옥황상제, 천지왕 본풀이. And the 천지왕 본풀이 includes cosmic creation myth, as I told you. The only place in Korea they have the ritual recitation of myth, cosmic creation myth are left there. And I didn't write here, but there are several complicated more ritual processes here. For instance, if you invite gods, you have to enumerate important gods' names. And that is very important part. And then you have to send them, give them seats here. You have to sit there, you have to sit there, like, you know. And sometimes you have to open the hole, real hole, H-O-L-E, hole. That is a pathway, the main god of the village, 본향당신, comes to the ritual place, not from the heaven, because 본향당신 is around here. I mean, main village god is around here, not from heaven. So you have to make the hole. That is a kind of pathway the god comes through to the ritual place. Very complicated rituals, like, you know, 초상계, 제상계, 제후상계, and then you have to enumerate and explain the reason why you do perform good. It should be persuasive to gods, to the gods. If you invite the gods to here, and the origin of the village and the reason of the good is performed, you should persuade gods to be here. And then after that, after 초감제 is over, the gods are seated. Before that, you cannot be very joyful. Once I met 어촌계장. 어촌계장 is kind of chief member of fishery industry of a village. 어촌계장 is very powerful person because he is a chief person of the fishery industry of the village. So anybody who saw the 폭삭 속았수다 Netflix drama nowadays, 어촌계장 is very powerful. You saw that in the drama also, right? 어촌계장 is the main host of the village fishery abundance good, right? But when I met the 어촌계장 of a village, 조천후 북촌리 영등굿, in 조천후 북촌리 영등굿, he was just hanging around the outside and far from the ritual place. Then I asked him, why you are the host, why you are hanging around, why don't you come in? And he said that I spoiled my body, so I cannot approach the ritual place before 초감제 is over. One of his family member died. He experienced a funeral. He spoiled his body. It means he got impure. He got pollution. But after 초감제 is over, gods are seated in their own place. And in the ritual place, the realm of gods in the ritual place and the realm of human beings are separated. After that, he can come into the ritual place. That's what he said. So even, you know, non-shaman members of the village knows about the purity rules and the separation of the realm there. 초감제 is very important thing. So heavenly and netherworld gods, community deities, believed to reside in shrines in or around villages, and household deities responsible for specific parts of the home are all ritually summoned to cross over into the human realm. After invitation is over, you have to entertain them. To entertain them, you have to do 석살림. I'm going very roughly now. Actually, before anything begins, you have to play the instrument first. Instrument first. 삼석 울림. It means, just like, chime bell. Now class is beginning, right? A chime bell. So you have to play music first, percussions, 3 or 4 kinds of percussions play. And then you say that why you explain the reason why you do perform this ritual. Like that. And then after this whole process of invitation is over, 석살림. After the invited gods see this through a complex ritual procedure. Feed them, entertain them. Offerings such as food, raw and refined rice wine, 막걸리 and 청주. Gods really enjoy 청주 and 막걸리. And incense are presented to the gods. And 신방 play musical instrument and sing shamanic folk songs. All participants are expected to dance together. 서우제소리 time, you have to dance. If you become a good participant of Jeju shamanism, you have to be a good dancer. I doubt some persons are. Can you dance where? Well, you cannot. Dance together and interact playfully with the gods. Okay? And they think that gods are also enjoying themselves and dance there together with them. So, this is 해다림, purification ritual. Also, the first purification ritual is performed during 초감제, the invitation segment. Performed during 초감제 and frequently repeated in other ritual procedure. And Michael, can you recognize this hat here? This is a Buddhist hat, as we in Korean we call it kokgal. Kokgal, but they call it 송락. Professor Kim, 송락 is made of straw in Korean Buddhism, like 19th, 18th century. But they use a kokgal, Korean style kokgal, and use it as a hat. But they call this clothing is ordinary clothing. There are just 2 kinds of official clothing for shamans, but these are just showing that they are like authoritative persons, like wearing 양반자, noble persons 두루마기, and the Buddhist monks hat here. But this is not shamanic ritual special clothing. And this 신방, sing songs. 세다림 ritual is so important, so you hear the songs. Actually, he was a novice 신방. So he was not good at playing the purification rituals. He was talking about the kind of the water he is using for cleansing. 동해화당 은하 봉천수. 은하 is milkway. 봉천 is serving God. 수 is water. So this water is from milkway to serve God, heaven. So 은하 봉천수. What kind of 은하 봉천수 they use, I will talk about it a little bit later. The 세다림 purification ritual, a part of the good, is performed to remove minor impurities that participants may acquire despite their best efforts to remain clean. If you have major impurity, don't come. Major impurity don't come. Minor impurities, you can fix it through Sedarim ritual. Sedarim is believed to purify not only participants and the ritual place, but also the gods. God should be most importantly purified. It drives away lingering impurities from the passageway through which the gods arrive at the ritual place after the gate of the divine palace is opened by the shimbang. Even when no obvious source of impurity is present, Sedarim should still be performed to ensure the space is suitably prepared and remains fitting for the gods to visit and dwell there. And Sedarim is performed repeatedly to welcome the invited gods throughout various segments of the community good. Most importantly, 초감제, during the 초감제, I mean the inviting process, such as 초감제, 불도맞이, 일월맞이, 초공맞이, 이공맞이, and 시왕맞이. In several other procedures, you have to repeat Sedarim ritual. A shimbang sings purification chants accompanied by Korean shamanic instrument. Then the shimbang sprinkles water, either from his or her mouth. I mean, you have to have some water in your mouth and spray. Or, as you saw, he has to a bamboo tree with the blades, a fresh blades in his hand, and then dip it in the bowl of his hand, and then sprinkle like this onto the participants and ritual place, and making gestures of driving away birds. Birds. Why birds? Let's see. In the term 세다림, 새 is equivalent to 사 in the mainland Korean usage, meaning impure or evil. 사, 음사 or 삿되다, like, if you know Korea, 사 means bad things, impure things, evil things, right? On Jeju Island, 사 is typically pronounced 새. If you know Korean language, 새 is very easy word, right? 새 is bird. 새 is bird. Which also means bird or bird. In ritual context, these two meanings, impurity and bird, are often intentionally conflated. They're playing on pun, this punning, right? So I introduced their foundation, their basis of 새 is treated not only impurity but also as a bird here. That there are two myths in Jeju Island, two myths, Jeju Island, that explains why bird became the impure or evil influence. Two myths, 본풀이, are here. Removing impurity becomes symbolically equivalent to driving away birds. Playing on this pun, the shimbang makes gestures of fighting off birds while chanting ritual songs. Well, I'm not asked to talk about Jeju myth, but if I begin to talk about Jeju myth, it will take like 3 hours, 5 hours. So it was a good choice. The water used in 세다림 to remove impurity is referred to as cosmic and heavenly water, 은하봉천수, while in principle, it should be collected as morning dew. For morning dew, you have to get several bowls of morning dew. It is almost impossible, right? So nowadays, they use just bottled water, mineral bottled water. 삼다수, 제주 삼다수 is used for 은하봉천수. So if you have some interest in knowing about the Jeju purity system, please refer to my chapter there. My colleague at Syracuse University and I co-authored. And 몸정성 is very important. In Korea, in mainland Korea, we call it 재개, 목욕 재개 or 재개. 재개 is purify yourself during the period of 7 days or 3 days. Here, for shimbang, 7 days you have to do purify yourself before good. You have to wash your body with the 향나무 삶은 물, some specific water, and sometimes you have to rinse your mouth with the water, but you have to avoid the sources of impurity. Very importantly, corpse or dead bodies of not only human beings but also animals, especially animals closer to human beings like dog, cat. And sometimes the worst thing is serpent, snakes. Snakes, but dead body of snakes are really, really, a serious source of impurity. Among the 12 general myths in Jeju-do, one is about the snake god. So Jeju Island is maybe the last place the belief system of snake god remains till now. Nowadays, just small part of Jeju-do, southeastern part, Seongsan area, Pyosan area, they have belief system of snake god. But snake was, had been recognized as very tricky, difficult to please God in Jeju Island. So before participating in a good, adherents undertake an indigenous religious practice of 몸 정성. 몸 is body, 정성 is sincere effort, right? So a sincere effort to purify the body in preparation for entering the divine realm. The 신방 typically observe 몸 정성 for 7 days prior to the good, while general participants today do so for 3 days, but I think less than a day, usually most of them. Because most community rituals, you have to avoid pork. It is almost impossible in Korean food, avoiding the pork. Very difficult to avoid pork. In earlier times, it is said that all participants were expected to practice 몸정성 for 7 days before the ritual. Nowadays, it becomes shorter and shorter. Okay, I'll go back here turn next page. The list of impurity sources provided by 신방 do not always align with one another. What a 신방 should avoid may differ from what is expected of other participants in a good, including members of the host family. Still, however, we can identify common sources of pollution that Jeju people typically avoid, as well as shared practices for maintaining ritual purity, such as avoiding corpses and blood, especially menstruating women. Nowadays, menstruation becomes weaker and weaker as a source of impurity because many female 신방 work in practice there. Pork, depending on the deity being served, but most main god of the village do not like pork. But many think like this. If you are in charge of healing children, you do not expect when the children will be sick, right? So the god or goddess should eat pork. Because right after you eat pork, you should be able to go to the god to heal your children. So you do not know when the children will be sick, right? So if a god should be available anytime, the god should be eating pork. But for 본향당신, main god of the village, you have the specific day of ritual. So you can do 몸정성, purification rituals before 7 days. It is possible. But for instance, child care god or childbirth god, you do not know when they are expected, right? So in that case, they are usually enjoying pork. But much more complicated system, purity system are behind this eating pork. And it is very difficult to talk about this. And pork, depending on the deity being served, and sexual activity also should be avoided. And concerning the pork impurity, between the gods, they quarrel. And sometimes if you do bad things, they eat pork and then expelled from their area or main shrine, things like that. So it is really interesting. I think it is more interesting that of pork impurity of Leviticus. I'm sure it's more interesting than the Leviticus pork impurity. Not only to me, but also to many of just my friend. And the bonpuri is myth recited during the good. Recitation of bonpuri is really important. Jeju myth is recited during good. I took this picture last Saturday, April 5. I went to Jeju Island April 5 last Saturday, and then I got here on Monday. So just a few days ago, 김영 잠수굿 reciting 세경 bonpuri. 잠수 is diving, deep diving, right? But in Jeju, they call it 좀수. Their vowel systems are a little bit different. 좀수 or 좀녀. It means a sea female diver. So 잠수굿 is 해녀굿. So female diver good. It also pray for abundance of sea product. But a little bit different because it is not performed during the Yeongdeung-dal, I mean February of lunar calendar, and do not invite Yeongdeung-shin. Yeongdeung-shin comes from the other place I told you, right? Other place, heaven or mythic country, and she is goddess of wind. But in this case, they pray for their abundance to the sea god, Yohang-shin. Yohang-shin. And Bonpuri is always recited. Segyong Bonpuri is related to the wishing for abundance, and so Segyong Bonpuri is recited. And you see, inviting the sea god Yohang. Yohang is in the mainland called as Yongwang, Yongwang-nim, Yongwang. In Jeju-do, it is called Yohang. And this is the pathway. Yohang comes from the sea to the ritual place. Yohang-jil, jil is kill, path or way, the road, and Yohang comes through here. You have to entice the goddess or god by offer food outside the ritual place, and the god Yohang god will smell of the food from the sea and the musical instrument playing and singing, and by the invitation, the god will come through here and then come into the ritual place. You see, this is a ritual place inside, and the Yohang comes through this way and then come into here, and then we'll sit behind this table. This is not dankelgut. Dankelgut is 큰 굿, shelves hung on the wall. But I told you that the gods and goddess will be seated behind the table, right? These are their seats. And then after they sit here, and you see the paper here, and the division and the realms are divided, separated. You can come in there. And it is very important for you to entertain the gods. And not only gods, you have to entertain themselves. You have to enjoy yourselves. Participants continue eating food throughout the ritual process. Offering injeong are repeatedly presented to the gods. Anybody know Korean, the meaning of injeong? Injeong. Injeong is like benevolence, right? Human goodwill. But in Jeju-gut, it is used as a bribe or gift to the gods. If you look up the dictionary, Korean language dictionary, and then refer to injeong, it says that 18th century Korean language, it was present from lower person to higher person. So 18th century Korean language, it was used as a bribe or gift to the gods, but nowadays only Jeju it is used. Only Jeju it is used. So I wrote that Jeju dialect is very valuable for linguistic research. Retains features lost on the mainland, such as the meaning of injeong, or V or Y sound. In Korea nowadays, C is 바다 with B sound. But in Jeju Island, it is sometimes called wadang. And then it used to be vadang. In 15th century Korean language, there used to be alphabet of V, 순경은 비읍. Nowadays, we lost the sound, so we do not use the alphabet anymore. 순경은 비읍. But in Jeju, they still have that one. And several, unique vowel sounds and distinctive prefixes and suffixes. Very fascinating to learn this one. Participants continue eating food throughout the ritual process, and offerings are repeatedly presented. And the shimbang tosses large round-shaped rice cake into the air, and then, catch it, just like in circus show, large cake. Oh, run and catch it. And an act meant to entertain netherworld and lower gods, especially 강림 차사. 강림 차사. 강림 is the name of the hero of 신과 함께 movie. And the movie is the hero came from the Jeju myth. 강림 is the most competent, skilled messenger of the netherworld. And the gods and humans are meant to enjoy the ritual together, eating, singing, dancing, and celebrating. Okay, now you see the dancing hall. With gods, you have to dance like this. you see in the center, he is 어촌계장, chief of the fishery industry of the village, and he is always the main character of the dancing like this. I learned a lot of dance there. And another place, this grandfather is a really good dancer here, always. And female members of the divers also really good dancers. They are really good dancers. You can learn, if you want to learn dancing, you can go there. And I told you, a shimbang who sings well is regarded as a competent shimbang. She sings really well. I told you she's one of the two holders of national intangible heritage, and she sings really well. They say that there are 6 or 7 intonations of folk songs, but we cannot even recognize the difference. But they have to differently sing, and she was a really nice singer. I want to emphasize that gods are both recipients and performers of the ritual. Kimberly Patton. Kimberly Patton say that the gods are as much the originators as the objects or recipients of the cultic action. In Jeju tradition, gods are not only recipients of offerings, they are also believed to perform rituals themselves. They sometimes, offer food to others, and they sometimes, purify themselves. After, in myth, they enjoy pork, some god, but after eating pork, you have to do purification ritual to see other gods, right? So in myth, they do purification ritual themselves. And in practice, in this world, with the help of assistance of shimbang, they purify themselves. Ritual action also seems to come from, belong to, and even express the nature of the gods for who it is intended. From traditional perspectives, just as the gods receive sacrifices appropriate to them, so they also enact religious gestures equally appropriate to them. Kimberly Patton emphasizes that in the Greek art vases, there are libation rituals Zeus performs. To whom Zeus performed libation ritual? Because it belongs to him. He, just to perform libation ritual. That is her thesis of this book. So I actually accept her opinion, and then I could confirm in the Jeju Island there also. Nori o Nolim. Nori o Nolim is a play, ritual musical play, dramatically performed as part of it. Features dramatic and performative elements that create a festive atmosphere. Yeongdeung-gut. Yeongdeung is old man in Korea, but it used to mean, like, a higher official, Yeongdeung also. And it also meant 도깨비, goblin, 도채비. Involving playing with, entertaining, and feeding Yeongdeung. And Yeongdeung in Jeju-do also called 선왕. 선왕 is 선왕. It is king of the ships. And 도채비, goblin-like figure, in mainland called 도깨비. Supplications are made to these beings to grant abundance and refrain from harming people, especially arson. If you make 도채비 upset, 도채비 will make fire, arson. And then the 도깨비 will cause mental disorders. So the healing ritual of mental disorder always should include 영감놀이, pleasing 영감. Okay? Nori may be performed as an independent ritual for healing mental disorders. It means nori. Here, nori means 영감놀이. 영감놀이 is performed for healing mental disorders, or as part of larger rituals like 당굿. In 당굿, in many cases, 영감놀이 are played like this. 영감놀이 in 칠머리당 영등굿.
우리 제주시도 거기도 4살 영감들이 다 못하셨구나. 애들을 우리 좋아하는 거 있어. 좋아하는 거 있지. 도떼비 아시죠? 도떼비 기라니. 야 안주 기란 안주. 재미 많이 있어요. 음식을 응답하여. 자 여기서 영감에 들어와. 거기도 우리 제주시도 거기.
If you do not understand language, the video clip will not be interesting for you, but it means a lot to me. Actually, I want to show you another nori here. This is part of 산신놀이. praying for abundance of game in the mountain area villages. Here you see one actor and one 신방 place his or her one leg, on the body of another person, right? This means sexual relationship, sexual activity. So symbolic gestures wishing for abundance of game in this nori. This 신방 is called 수포수. 수 in Korean language is male. Male 신방's leg should be placed on the female 암포수. 암 means female, 포수 means hunter. Female hunter's body. So it is like a sexual relationship. They know that. The participants know that already. So the person is smiling, because he feels awkward here. This is symbolically meaning the sexual relationship for wishing for abundance of game. And this nori includes chasing and sacrificing a chicken. And the chicken is always, cheapest and always available animal, right? Poor chicken. But we all love chicken, right? Except for some people. But the chicken is, they pretended that the chicken is a roe deer. When they chase down the chicken, hey, catch the roe deer! And easily they catch it, and then they kill it, and they eat it. Firstly, they have to send them to the gods, spread to the air, and then they eat together among participants. Inviting and eating with the gods and sharing a community feast. I want to compare a little bit with the newer religion of 70 years ago, Evans Pritchard book of newer religion. Two types of sacrifice rituals of the newer. First one is collective sacrifice. Collective, actually, Evans Pritchard called it sacrifice, but he meant a complicated, comprehensive ritual there. Not only is killing here. Rites of passage, initiation, marriage, funeral, generally conspicuously faster and Eucharistic. He meant their rejoicing character. And personal sacrifices, piecular rites to remove evil. The evil is believed to be ransomed, expiated, or destroyed through the victim. And he said that is more serious religious. Jeju community good, just like the newer religion, generally faster, festive, and celebrative. Jeju individual family good, 액막이 especially, apotropaic, expiatory, or healing purpose, much more solemn in tone. But even family level or individual level rituals can sometimes take on faster characters when intended for Thanksgiving or to typo, please, with E, please the gods. I want to show you several pictures of 강태공 서목시 놀이. 강태공 서목시. 서목시 is a 수목수, that is a master carpenter. 강태공 was the prime minister of Jew dynasty of China, right? But during the Myeong dynasty, he became like a mythic hero of some novels. So Jeju myth, borrowed his name here as a mythic carpenter who firstly built the house in myth. So you have to invite the first carpenter and then have him build the house there. A segment of 성주풀이, that is the ritual for newly built houses, in which the house god 성주 is prayed for protection and peaceful dwelling. In ritual drama, the new house is equated with the archetypal house built in the mythic times. This is the model house of the mythic times. And house. On the center here, there is 맹두. 맹두 is a shamanic instrument, and at once there is God, tutelary God himself. So you have to invite the gods at the center of the house. That is the ideal house of this shamanic religion. And this 강태공 서목시놀이, 신방 catches the mythic carpenter here, and then have him see if the house is stout. The strong enough. This is kind of 놀이. And not only 신방, but also the host, family members dancing and enjoying there too. This is an individual family ritual, but this is festive. So depending on the purpose of the ritual, you can enjoy even in the individual family level rituals also. 액막이 as an individual ritual was once practiced widely across Korea in various forms, but today it is performed regularly only in a few villages on Jeju Island. Actually, 15 years ago, I really saw a chicken sacrifice, wrist the neck of a chicken and then grab the two legs of a chicken and then swirl down to the ground. And then throw it for divination. I saw them many times. But nowadays, they don't do that. After many rituals became national heritage or national heritage, they do not want to bother some vegetarians and especially young Shimbang do not want to break the necks of chicken anymore. So they do that by words. When the ancient Israelites lost the temple, Jerusalem temple in 70 CE, for the Jewish rituals, they just read Talmud like this, right? Talmud and the Bible, right? They say that with the words they do sacrifice rituals. Now it is not time like that anymore. Please get other offerings and then do not get the life of chicken anymore. We do not prepare the chicken anymore like that. With the words they explain to God, and they said that Shimbang say that gods are pleased with other rituals. So rituals are always changing. I wrote very long paper about this, about 10,000 words. No, yeah, 10,000 words. If you want to look up about this change of the 액막이, you can refer to my article. I do not have enough time, so I will go fast now. Chicken. I want to emphasize one thing. Comparable to the concept of personal sacrifice in dual religion, Evans preacher said that for the personal sacrifice, principle of vita pro vita worked there. In the Jeju-do, they call it 대명대충. 대명대충 is exactly the same meaning of vita pro vita. So they have the words. Shimbang always repeat the words of 대명대충, 대명대충. 대명대충 meaning a life should be offered in place of another. 대명대충. But in nowadays Jeju-do, just southeastern part of Jeju-do, they do chicken sacrifice. Still have. They have some quarrel. You have to maintain the tradition. Why you throw away the valuable tradition? 신방 오용부 yell at other persons, and other persons say that then time has changed. You cannot kill lives anymore. It is really interesting and serious fighting there. But they work together. In 액막이, no more chicken sacrifice are performed. Why? Please refer to Yohan Yoo. You see my article title out there. I will show you some pictures. At night, just before sending back gods, you do 액막이, chicken sacrifice. You see this chicken here? Chicken head? You have to show this chicken to the gods. You see, the life of chicken will replace the life of these community members. And then, Professor Kim, would you please turn off the lights, maybe? You see the chicken now? She has chicken in her hands and swirling down to the ground. Yeah. And I will show you some other pictures. Yeah, chicken. Inside also. Chicken. Actually, they killed at least, for Yeongdeung-gut, at least 3 or 5 chickens. Yeah. And chicken. 기동천리 적숭 배고기. You do not understand. Even I did not understand. 적흉 배고기. It should be a red rooster. 아주 stout red rooster should be used. And she said that for 대명대충, life for life, vita pro vita, it will replace your life, your own life, and it should be killed. Now you have to send back the gods. You have to send back gods. If the gods remain in your house, it will cause danger to your life. It will chase down to you in your dream and your life. And then you cannot do anything, right? So 도진. We expect that the 도진 word, the word 도진 came from the mainland, the 뒷전. It is the closing part. The ritual of sending all invited gods back includes singing farewell songs, and accompanied by instrument. And it is the last time you can offer rice wine to the gods. Please drink this one glass of wine and then go back to your realm. You ate a lot already, so this is your last glass, and then drink this last glass and then please go back. And sing songs and playing instrument. In 큰 곳, 2 additional rites to send back gods should be performed. But 적은 곳, just 도진 is enough. Actually, after good is over, 7 days after good is over, 신방 should come back to the ritual place and then check if any gods remained there. And then they say that, please do not remain here. Come back with me. You can attach to my body, but do not harass these people. They say that. So sometimes the good play performed in the house of 신방, they do not do 도진, because some 신방 expect that he always be with all the gods in his life. So it happened there. 영감놀이 is enjoying 영감, 도채비, 선왕, I told you. But also in 영감놀이, you have to send 영감, 선왕 back to his own realm. Because I told you, 선왕, 영감 is very tricky god. Sometimes if he upset, he will cause mental disorder and arson. So you have to send him back. So in 칠머리당 영등굿 is performed 14th February, just the day before 영등신 go back to her own country. So it is called farewell 굿. 송별제 means farewell 굿. So during the 영감놀이, they do perform 배방선. 배방선 is preparing the boats for 영감 take and then go back to their own country, and then put a lot of food in the boat. I mean, mother boat. And then say that, and then after you take a fishing boat and then bring the straw mother boat to the sea, and then let go of to the sea, and then the 영감 gods will follow the food and then take the ship, a boat, mother boat, and then they will leave. So there is very important ritual, because 선왕 is very important god, but he caused troubles so many times. So they will move back to from this hill that right down there is sea. So these people will go down to, you see, they go down to the hill. They are going down to the sea now. And then they will take a boat and then go to the sea. And then let go of this mother boat on their shoulder. The boats are made of the straw, so it will not cause ocean pollution. But sometimes they make this with straw foam, and then cause a lot of ocean pollution. It bothers me, but I was not brave enough to stand against the 신방, so I didn't say anything because I was scared of 신방. Like this. So you see the boat here with the flag here. You have to take this boat and then go down to the sea. I once took this boat and went to the sea with them. Oh, it was really scary. I will show you why, the reason. You have to say that, please eat this food and go away, right? And you have to say that. And then not only 선왕, they have to please all the gods, right? So even in the house, 해녀, female divers, they do play on the ship to entertain gods, to play the gods. But if you go down to the sea far from here, the sea is really dangerous. I felt that This is boat. I was on here. I felt like the boat was like this, like vertical. But the female divers will not die, even if they fall from the boat, because they swim very well. But I will die from here. So I was scared. And one of my colleagues, she was a rider. She was a rider, and she was really scared and she screamed. And the female Hanyo diver came to her and then yelled at her. We came here to please God. If you scream, the God will not entertain themselves. Then the sea will rougher. Stormy become more violent. Shut up and be quiet. And then she danced again. Usually twist. I learned a good twist from her. Hanyo preparing nori in the boat for Baebangsan. This is picture I took when the boat was like this. I could not even take the picture. And the chief Hanyo said that if you feel scared, then scream. The gods we are supposed to entertain here will be angered, and the sea will grow even rougher. Is that persuasive? It's not? I think it's persuasive, at least to them, Sometimes it causes ocean pollution. Oh, but I cannot resist, I wanted to live there, Lastly, know the will of God, divination. Divination is very important. Two things. First one is performed by Mengdu. Mengdu is shamanic instrument, three kind of instrument. And the second one is rice, grain divination. Grain divinations are usually performed for the abundance of this coming year. But if the God came here or not, you have to ask Mengdu. Mengdu is God himself, 초공 God himself. So 산바듬 is really important. Seedrim, you throw away grains to the bamboo mat and then see the shape of the spread grains, and then you'll see that you go to the northern part of the sea next year and then you will get a lot of squid like that. Seedrim, this is also a video clip, but I do not have enough time. So 오징어, squid, 씨 뿌리러 가자. Like this. And knowing the will of God, 산바듬 performed after some procedure or the whole ritual. Mengdu is symbol and adorns real presence, the most important shamanic instrument and the tutelary god of Shimbang. Mengdu is used. And the final ritual is Nokdurim I want to introduce here. For children under 15, a simple binyam ritual is performed. But when symptoms are serious or adult patients are sick very much, you have to play good type Nokdurim. Performed by 4 to 5 ritual specialists, including at least 3 Shimbang. And conducted when the patient is seriously ill, typically mentally, or when the basic Nokdurim proves ineffective. Also used for adults experiencing mental illness believed to be caused by soul loss due to emotional shock or trauma. The goddess 삼승할망, goddess of childcare or childbirth, does not care for adults. The soul must be found and restored through the assistance of all 18,000 gods of Jeju shamanism. That's the reason you have to play good for getting soul back. Nowadays in Korea, in other places, no notions of living soul are left. Just in Jeju-do, souls can live from body, and then cause illness. That notion left in Jeju. In 1970s, Dr. Jang Ju-gun found out that very rare cases, they believe that the soul living from the body. In Japanese, it is very common, right? Even Murakami Haruki introduces leaving the soul of the body, like 1Q84 and Kafka on the shore. He always mentioned Japanese traditional stories from there. But in Korea, it's very rare, only in Jeju-do. If soul left, soul leave, evil spirits can come in there. So Nokdurim ritual, you should get back the left soul and also expel the evil spirits that came into the body of the patient. You have to play that one. They're very important. And they say that 삼혼, 3 souls or 7 souls in here. But in Jeju-do, I found out that there is the 3 souls or 7 souls meaning just a perfect state of 3 or 7 means perfect state of soul, not the exact number of 3. Because sometimes 신방 enumerate soul left his or her body like 15, 20 souls left his or her body already. The soul left her body when she was rebuked by her school teacher. When the soul left when she got scared by the fast car, like that. So to me, I think the human soul in Jeju Island is like a cotton cake, cotton candy. It can live bit by bit, bit by bit. That is my argument. If you want to know about my argument more, you can refer to this. And this is nocturnal ritual. Yeah. And Jeju City. And Mengdu is very important shamanic instrument and the god himself. And yeah, Mengdu is used for good ritual, expelling evil spirits. And also for divination. You can see the shape of how the Mengdu fall down to the ground and then predict the future of the family or individual or the state of illness or predicting the industry or abundance like that. Yeah. 천문, 산대, 상잔. And 요령, bell, shamanic bell. Shamanic bell is also used for good. And you can see hidden figure here. Hidden figure here. That you do not recognize who he is. Yeah, that's hidden figure here. To open the door to other world and invite deities. And you have to prepare a separate table for Mengdu himself. Mengdu is totally God himself, so you have to prepare a separate table for this shamanic tour. It is not only just instrument, but also it is real presence. As Robert Orsi says, this is real presence, the God himself. It should be enshrined in the small shrine of the 신방's house. And then when they go to the good or a ritual place, they have to bow down to this instrument and say that, oh ancestor, oh 조상님, oh God, it means, oh God, please come with me. And then you should not bring the Mengdu like this. You always have to put that in your shoulder, just like planking, and then you have to move it. So this is God himself here. And Mengdu divination is so important. I wrote an article about the material god Mengdu, symbol and real presence in Routledge Handbook of Material Religion. Now, you see, I used to be young when I began this. I used to be young when I began this work more than 15 years ago. See, I was younger. I have my times, bigger and younger here. And I learned a lot from these my informants, more than 15 years like this. And this one passed away. And this one passed away. About half of my informants passed away. The reason I wanted to be in a hurry studying Jeju Shamanic religion is that we are losing. Many experts are going. So it is not available anymore. Younger generation cannot play good, as good as their seniors. They lost a lot. So I wanted to do a study. You see, even the COVID-19 times I went down to Jeju Island, and she is one of the holders of national heritage. And he is the person who still do the chicken sacrifice. He is really, confident. He has to do chicken sacrifice. He is serious. And he is the only person who can make Mengdu. But he is a smith also. He is smith, the only smith, and at the same time 신방. But in Jeju Island, smith was really important. Just like Miricha Elias said that in the book of shamanism, the smith and the shaman came from the same belly. I mean, same human body. I mean, anyway, but we can see the evidence in Jeju Island of the area. I think that in Jeju Island, Smith was the person who made the god, tutelary god. So he was a very sacred person here. These 4 persons were my informants and they all passed away. So I wanted to study hard before the tradition were totally lost. And I still study this Jeju Shamanic religion as much as possible. And thank you. I'm sorry, I spent a whole 1.5 hours. I'm so sorry.
And I'd like to thank Professor Yoo again for interesting lecture today. So if you have any questions, now is the time. I think that there's no point there.
If I cannot understand your English, I will ask you to translate.
Hello. Hi, 안녕하세요. So you said the ritual is rooted from mainland Korea. Do you think it's also a practice done in North Korea?
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
we do not have information about it, but we have some evidence, like the author novelist Hwang Seok-young, very famous novelist Hwang Seok-young. He wrote a 바리대기 novel of 바리대기. Princess Bari, and he got some information of North Korea. They still have, not officially, but secretly have some legacy of shamanism in North Korea also. Actually, Gyeonggi province and Seoul provinces, Seoul areas, good came from Hwanghae-do. Hwanghae-do is in North Korea. Right right north part of Gyeonggi province, Seoul area, there is a Hwanghae province. Hwanghae province good is very famous. Very famous. Somebody have ever heard the name of Budang Kim Geum-hwa? She was the very famous person in the 20th century. She came from Hwanghae-do. And then I found a lot of similar elements from between Hwanghae-do ritual and Jeju ritual. But it is not clearly revealed. But we do not know exactly because officially there is no shamanism in Korea. Actually, in South Korea also in 1960s and 70s, shamanism were persecuted by the government, by the modernization period, because it is really unmodern and outdated religion to the Saemaul-undong persons, right? So why shamans so like Seoul National University professor? Because they think that they are recognized officially nowadays by National University professor. Or if you KBS, Korean Broadcast System, biggest broadcast company, go down there and want to take pictures and then want to broadcast, they really like it because they think that they are officially recognized and by the government or general public.
Thank you.
Hey, Michael.
So a few years ago, we had a graduate student from Singapore who did a wonderful dissertation on, on a type of folk religion that seems very much like what you have at Jeju-do in a very, very, very remote place in Shikoku, Japan. And the religion of that village was made an intangible national treasure by the Japanese government. And she went to study this religion, but she ended up writing her dissertation on the impact of the designation of this being a national treasure, because then tourists came. But even more importantly, you spoke a little bit about this, the question of what is the authentic form of this religion suddenly became important. And people started to say, no, you can't change that. And then who defines this religion? Was it the priests? Was it the followers? Or was it the Ministry of Education? So how has the recognition of these people as being important cultural properties, how has that changed what you study?
Yeah, a lot of change. I think the chicken sacrifice, the ceasing of chicken sacrifice is also influenced by the national heritage. I think so. Because, before it was designated as national heritage, not the Ministry of Education in Korea, Ministry of Culture, Culture and Tourism, and the athleticism, 문광부, yeah. And after it was designated by the government as a national heritage, general public began to come, and then they always complain about the alcohol or some irritating elements to them, like killing, or sometimes they tear off the feathers of the chicken in front of the people, and then chicken quick squeak a lot, make big noise. And then, sometimes you can divine by the sound of chicken when they hit the head of the chicken and then tear off the feathers there. So actually, the reason they began to stop the killing chicken were the complaint of the general public. So, and they started to make new ritual to please general public. In Jeju-do, there is a creation myth of Jeju Island, 설문대 할망, the giant female 할머니, grandmother, who made the geography of Jeju Island. But it was never used. The story was never used during the ritual. So it is kind of legend instead of myth, actually. And then it was not believed as real. As long as the story is believed as real by the people, it can be myth. But it was not believed that. But for fun, they shared the story. But it became famous. The story became famous all over Korea. 설문대 할망 story. And then they make the shrine for 설문대 할망. And then they began ritual, and they made up its own bountiful. 본 means actually root or origin. 풀이 means explanation. That means myth in Jeju-do. So I asked, why do you do that? To please the general public. So a lot of change are going there. But I think religion and religious ritual are supposed to be changed, right? So as long as it is initiated by these people, I want to support this change. I want to support this change. But for instance, if they are threatened by general public not to kill chicken and then gave up, I do not want to see that. But the younger generation of Shimbang, the Jeju people, do not want to kill by breaking the necks of chicken anymore. I want to support their opinion. That's my position. Thank you.
Thanks for your wonderful lecture. And I have two questions, and one of them is kind of generic question about the definition of shaman. So there are some scholars who define shaman as the people who travel off to the spiritual world, and come back with the message of the spirit. And spirit mediums are the people who are taken over by the spirit, and they just borrow their body to the spirit in our kind of ordinary world. But it seems like in case of Jeju, there were some cases where people are recognized as being ill because they lost their soul, and something other existence come into their body. That in that case, that is like problematized in Jeju ritual context. But still, you guys you define it as shamanic kind of ritual. So why? That is my first question.
Can I answer for the first question, because I'm not smart as smart as remembering two questions at the same time. A lot of as you know, debates over this one. And actually for my last paper, one reviewer said that you cannot use the word shamanism. The one reason I use the word shaman is that since late 1800, many American missionaries came to Korea and began to use the word shaman. So many important persons, like including Laurel Kendall and everybody else, use the word shaman like more than 150 years. But I believe the shaman is a proper word also, even in Jeju Island. Because the Korean shamans do not go to, the soul of Korean shaman go to the other world, divine world, but they invite a shaman in their world, in their body, usually. In Jeju shamans also, they have to go through, usually most of them go through 신병, before, even if their parent or their mother or father or grandfather was shaman, and then they 신방, let me use the word 신방. 신방, and then they just inherited the job of 신방. But most of them got the sickness of the 신내림. When they got the job, most of them got really, really bad illness. And then they experienced the God came into their body. In Korea, actually, Militia Eliades, get bad influence, saying that the shamanism is about the souls leaving the body and go to the other world, right? I'm Iliadean and I love Iliade, but there is just one kind. Usually in Korean areas, they are mediators, they are medium to get the God in their body and then get the voice of the God here. But in Jeju, not only Jeju, in southern part of Korea, we said that the 세승무 inheritance 무당, they do not get the 신내림 usually. They do that as their job, inheriting job there. But more and more I study and work with them, I found out that they have the illness element of 신내림 also. And the Jeju shamans say that they do not do the divination by Mengdu. Always Mengdu shows the way. It is very tricky. I wrote here some part of this one. Here, some scholars argue that Jeju 신방 do not directly contact the God during good. This is about your question, but I did not have enough time, so I just skipped this one. I expected this question will be raised actually. Unlike shamans in Gyeonggi and northern part in Korea, they got 신내림 there. And they have shin always in their body. I met a lot of them who can make the voice of shin themselves. And then they are really ghost-like, get the knowledge of yourself. And hey, on your shoulder, there is a ghost here, like this one. Wow, scary, right? But unlike shamans in Gyeonggi and northern part in Korea, who may be possessed by spirits, without being possessed by spirits, they cannot sell their products. The guests will not, 손님, the customers will not come and visit there. Instead, Jeju 신방 are said to use Mengdu as a sacred instrument set for divination, judging divine will solely from how the tools fall. However, 신방 I have interviewed. I met more than 20 신방. Most famous 신방 I met. Say they are always in contact with the divine being Mengdu, and they talk to them, and Mengdu tell them. Mengdu talk to them, and which reveals each will directly to them. Actually, they say that they do not get the Mengdu, but Mengdu chose them. They firmly believe so, and they got sickness, and they do not possess, but some kind of possession there, because during the ritual they strictly believe that God always intervene and God always talk about it. Not only chicken sacrifice, sometimes 2 generations ago, even cow or horse was sacrificed in Jeju to prevent act. When the gods strongly ask the 신방, and 신방 cannot help but killing bigger animals. Actually, not only killing, but also just like a scapegoat in Leviticus, you have to let it go to the ground and then you can get back. But anyway, 신방 themselves believe that they are mediator. 신의 성방, they put the official of gods and goddesses, and then they are in between, in the realm of in between human realm and divine realm. I think it is really important question. That's the reason my answer is getting longer. The reason that the chicken sacrifice during the engmagi, you cannot eat. Just during the ritual you can eat, sure and eat. But after good is over, nobody can eat the chicken. Nobody can eat the chicken because it has all the elites of the community people, right? They kill the chicken. Called vita pro vita, right? But only 신방 can eat. Shimbang say that they are in the realm in between human realm and the divine realm. They are the being reside in between them. When they die, they do not go to 저승 시왕. All the other people go to the netherworld god 시왕, 10 gods of the netherworld, but they do not go there. They go, when they die, they go to 초공. 초공 is the ancestor god of shamans. And then they will be judged by the 초공. So they say that when they become 신방, 팔자 그르치다, but they say that it is not, they are really, their life is really fucked. That does not really meaning that. He says that they are going to the other way with the other persons. So they believe that they are in between human realms and divine realm as a mediator. There are several more actually evidence I want to share with you. But I think that not only just 150 years history of usage of the word, but also there are so many other actually bases for need to use the word.
Actually, my second question is also about the relationship between the shaman and the god, because the word 인정, the personal benevolence offered as sacrifice to the god, sounds really like interesting to me, because it carries the implication that it is a bribe to the god. Then what kind of relationship does this suggest between the divine entity and the shaman? Because it means that they are having kind of irregular or exceptional petitions out that deviates from the normal and established bureaucratic order of gods. So it is something bad, shamans are doing that.
I do not understand your question exactly, but 인정 are usually presented from the participants to gods through 신방. But the money, the most important 인정 is money. When you go to the ritual place, are you student or a professor or here? Student. Okay, if you are PhD student, and then 신방, if 신방 recognize you, and 신방 will sing songs at that. Columbia PhD student give 인정 to here, and then you have to pay like that. If I go to there, 서울대 교수님, Professor of Seoul National University, why don't you give some 인정 to my basket here? Ask you to give money. If you give just 만 원, I mean 10,000 won, give me more. I have to pay 50,000 won there, right? Where the money goes?
To the shaman?
Yeah, to the shaman. Because they are the person in between human and the gods. Some other offerings, like the ritual money, 지전, they have to burn it and then send them to the divine realm.
My point is why it sounds like illegal. Bribe is like something bad, right?
Not here. 인정 is not bribe here. This is present, gift.
I see.
But when the word present from the lower being to the higher being, it can be used as a meaning of bribe also. So in the mainland Korea, it used as a meaning of bribe, but also gift from the lower persons to higher beings.
Thank you.
But this question is about manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of customer or this guest or host, and he kind of present this money to the god, and then in a way they're kind of manipulating the gods, right? So that way, this guest, this customer kind of is controlling how the god act, right? So this 무당 or 신방 is not just serving the gods. This serving is actually kind of both ways.
Yes.
So that's probably like lobbyist or.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. That means we cannot deny. We cannot deny the elements are there also. I think so. 신방 is sometimes manipulating the relationship between human beings and the people, human beings and the gods, and some 이형상 목사 18th century prohibited the 신방, and because they do not produce things, they always live on the production of other people, general public, right? So he prohibited most of the shimbang, as long as he or she shows the miraculous signs. 이형상 also allowed, but not that not the case, because most of the shimbang usually live on what the clients give, right? So they manipulate and they are in between there. But well, I don't think that is the major point there. Sometimes they use and manipulate people, but they are really serious and they believe that the person give 인정 to God through them, they will be really blessed. I'm a scholar of religion, so maybe I'm too much, sympathetic or empathetic with the religious people. But in my experience, they were really serious, not politically really manipulating. So maybe you are right, but in some parts, they are seriously believe that by giving 인정, the person will be blessed.
Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful talk. I have just one question. So from what I understand, like the myths and rituals in Korean shamanism like actively reflect the geographical histories of the regions in which they're practiced. How can this like exactly be corroborated in the case of Jeju, especially given its very unique topography compared to the rest of the Korean peninsula?
You mean why it became the unique?
I guess like from its geographical features like such as like Halasan and I don't know. That's the example that I can think of because it definitely is unique as you've argued.
Yeah. I mean, the geographical features, how influence their belief system. That is your
Yes,
question. Yeah,
yes,
there are
sorry.
a lot of things that, in most of area of Korea, there are belief of tiger, right? But in Jeju, there are no tigers there, and they say that they have just 99 valleys in Hallasan. Not exactly number of 99, but if they have 10 valleys in Hallasan, they could have a real hero, national hero, and tiger, Sanshin, I mean mountain god in Jeju-do also, because Jeju-do is island and small, just with the Hallasan with small area, so they do not have real influential gods all over the world. And some parts of I told you 설문대 할망 and 설문대 할망. They also said that 설문대 할망 is a person who created Jeju Island, and they believe that they say that even though 설문대 할망 made the Jeju Island, they say that she also a creator of the whole world, because Jeju Island is the center of the world, center of the cosmos to them. When the shamans say that if you have the mental disorder and do not perform nocturne, you will not be cured. And I asked that, how's a person who have mental disorder outside the Jeju Island, they cannot perform nocturne outside the Jeju Island? They do not have answer, because they Jeju Island is their cosmos. They are everything. They do not have answer. Their belief system and their ritual and their myth are developed and evolved in the limited area of Jeju Island. So it's not really general ideas there, but they accepted a lot of ideas from not only Confucianism and some Taoism. They try to learn as much as possible from even some Chinese religion like Gang Taegong. They do not know even Gang Taegong who Gang Taegong is, but they try to learn a lot. But they always recognize that Jeju is island and small part of Korea, and sometimes I can say that Sato is almost God, because the central government magistrate is the most powerful person. So in Jeju myth, the magistrates is even sometimes depicted as gods or powerful persons there. Wow, maybe some answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's time really.
One last question.
It's just one
Oh.
final question. Yeah.
It seems to me that shamanism, if we look yes, it's a religion and a ritual practice, but has always proven to be extremely productive and open in its relationship to other cultural practices within Korean society. Okay. And so, for example, just to give some example, if you look at literature and film, the various roles in which shamanism has played within the structure of those narratives, for example, as a symbol of native practice versus Christianity, you know, that type of debate, or as an allegory of the types of conflicts that happened within families during the Korean War. And I know you mentioned Professor Kendall. I know one reason Professor Kendall never goes to films that feature shamanism as a theme because so many of the films make sexual or erotic figures or treat shamanism as in a very eroticized manner. And so somebody mentioned earlier this official recognition of it, institution support of it within public official national culture as a fairly recent thing. But for example, if we look at 18th, 19th century Korean performances done in the court, okay, we see shaman dance, etc. We see that Kisang learn shaman dance and singing. And to me, that's probably totally separate from a religious or a ritual practice. It's more toward okay, all right. So that's the question. That's the question I have. So if Kisang, like whether it's Salpuri or any other thing, if it's something that Kisang are mastering and performing to the enjoyment of the king or the court, in fact, this practice of generalizing shamanistic influences to other forms of culture within Korea is very old and probably goes back much longer than the simple explanation that it comes from government recognition or tourism or a Korean version of Hollywood, etc.
It will take about an hour to answer the question, but you know, during the Silla dynasty, we have a lot of evidence that the politics and the religion cannot be separated at all. Actually, in Jeolla province, Kiseng and Mudang and even Smith, blacksmith, and some other artifacts makers of artifacts are in the same family, actually. In the same, you cannot separate them. Like in Judaism or Shintoism or any other religions of the before modernization, the religion and politics and the real life cannot be separated. The whole system, actually, in shamanism also. And then you raised a really good question, but maybe later we can talk about it because time's up. Okay.
Thank you again for great talk today. So guys, to come here.